What's going on, Bears fans? I am back from Italy, and to welcome me home, why don't we just get the bear downs going in the comment section? The energy is getting lifted around the Chicago Bears. Training camp is going to be here next week, so type bear down to welcome me back, and hey, just to be fired up about the Bears. Training camp starting next week. Today's episode of Chicago Bears Now is presented by Manscaped, and we got a deal for you guys, 20% off plus free shipping when you use code BEARS20 for all of their men's grooming products like the shaver, the lawnmower 4.0 right there. Plus, they have an all-new product that they just dropped. We'll tell you about that later on in the show. It's manscaped.com, promo code BEARS20. You're watching Bears Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham, as we got a fresh batch of Chicago Bears news and rumors coming at you on today's show. And we'll kick things off with yet another national publication bashing Justin Fields. Mike Clay, who does some NFL stuff for ESPN and some fantasy football work, says that Fields will lead the NFL in interceptions. Also, Mike Renner, who works for ESPN and PFF, didn't mention Fields at all as a second-year breakout candidate. Full list of 15 players. Fields did not crack that list. And look, let's just be honest. The national media continue to bash and doubt Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. And I certainly understand some of that. It's a new regime. They haven't invested a ton of money around Justin Fields. I can certainly understand where some of the doubting is coming in. But what I don't understand is these national outlets don't even acknowledge the possibility that Fields might just improve a lot in this new offense and just take a step forward just having a full offseason alone as the starting quarterback. He basically didn't get any of that last offseason as the Bears were going to roll with Andy Dalton. Now, here's ESPN stat projections from Mike Clay. 63%, I think I'd be pretty happy with that. 36, 35 yards, I'd be cool with that. You'd like to get to that 4,000 number, which no Bears quarterback ever has, but 3,600 plus would be pretty solid. Only 18 passing touchdowns, 16 picks. You obviously don't want that ratio. The rating, you'd want to be at least at 90, if not higher. Look, the national narrative is clear. The Bears don't have a good roster, and Fields isn't ready. That's basically what the narrative has been all offseason long, and that's not going to change until Fields and the Bears prove them wrong. They have a lot to prove. They got to change that narrative. It's up to this group to change the narrative, and if they're losing a bunch of games early, if they're struggling offensively, it's not going to change. That's how things work in life. So, I'm excited to see how this young group handles, playing with the chip on their shoulder and plays under Matt Eberflus. And obviously, we're all eager to wait and see how Justin Fields plays under offensive coordinator Luke Getsy here in his second season. Will Justin Fields have a breakout season? Let me know in the comments. Type Y for yes, type in for no. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. So go ahead and reply down in the comments if you get hit with that YouTube ad break. I do think Fields is going to impress this year. Now, I can't put a tangible statistic on what that looks like. Maybe he does throw 15, 16 interceptions, but I think he's going to take a lot of step forwards. I think the accuracy percentages will go up. I think he's going to make a lot of plays down the field throwing the football. I think they'll make that vertical passing game a big part of this offense. A lot of play action, bootlegs, rollouts. I think the offense will fit Fields. Now it's up to him to make plays and for players around him to make enough plays. And sure, we all have questions about some of the personnel. Does he have enough at receiver and on the offensive line? We'll see. But to just continue to hear this bashing and the absolute zero chance that this group could surprise some people and play well, I don't really get that at all. So, again, up to Fields and the Bears to change that narrative, but I do think he'll break out. I do think he'll have a pretty solid second season. Now, Bears fans, we have over 48,000 subscribers, but not a lot of you guys have turned on your notifications. So subscribe if you haven't. Click that noti bell, select all, and then if you're still not getting notifications on your phone, it's probably because in the settings app you have notifications turned off. So after you hit that bell on the YouTube app, go to your settings app, scroll down, tap the YouTube app there, tap notifications, and then turn on allow notifications. So if you're not notified when we go live or when we publish a video and you're like, Harrison, I've already clicked a bell icon on YouTube, it's probably because noties are turned off on your settings app. It happens all the time when you download a new app. It says allow notifications. You probably selected no, and that's why you're not getting them. So that's how you do it. You turn those on, you're going to be able to know exactly when we go live and publish more videos. All right, let's talk Darnell Mooney as he has ripped Matt Nagy again. He did this about a month ago, I believe now. It was hopped on a podcast and, indirectly ripped Nagy in the prior regime without directly naming him. And he's done it again here. Did an interview with Dan Pompei of The Athletic. Says he's excited for the Bears' 2022 offense. Said that Luke Getsy's offense makes sense, which is just a direct indictment of Matt Nagy. I mean, he's not even like hyping up the new offense. He's just being simple here. This is what he said. I love the offense. It makes sense. I mean, it's so basic, right? Like, it just continues to show how out of control and how lost Matt Nagy was truly at the end. I don't think that was the case during his 4-year tenure the entire time, but the last year and a half especially, Nagy's offense had no rhythm to it, had no flow. It was predictable, and it didn't make sense. For Darnell Mooney to be like, hey, I'm having fun. The offense makes sense. It's not even like he's saying, yeah, Luke Getsy, he's super creative. You got all these different route. He's just saying, no, it makes sense. Like, how bad was it under Matt Nagy? I don't know if we'll ever know how bad it was, but it's just so bad. I mean, the fact that team won any games last year is kind of a miracle in itself. So thanks, Nagy, once again. And if you think he's a fraud, type F in the comments. I mean, it's just the evidence is overwhelming at this point with some of the decisions he made, the way players are talking about him, reports that came out during the season last year that have come out after the season. It's just fraud alert on it is all over the place. So get F down in the comments. You know who isn't fraudulent? Manscaped, because they have the best men's grooming products available, and they just dropped their new boxers, the Boxers 2.0. They're super comfortable. They got a little pouch for your sack to hang down in there, and you're going to be feeling a lot better. The anti-chafing stuff in there as well, because hey, listen, I was in Italy recently, and it's not as hot over there as it is here, but you walk a lot over there. I was walking 4 or 5 miles a day in Florence, and you don't want to start chafing. You don't want a pair of these boxers. It's not going to happen. Promo code BEARS20 going to get you 20% off for all of their men's grooming products, including the brand new boxers. Go check those out. Manscaped.com, promo code BEARS20. You're going to stay nice and comfortable with the Boxers 2.0. A little bit more on Mooney. That's what's crazy about all of this. Is like he still produced in that garbage offense. Over 1,000 yards. The yards after the catch, something he really shines in as well. I think the touchdowns will go up moving forward here, so we're all excited about that. We hope he becomes that, true alpha male number one receiver. I think he's got a chance to prove that this year. Obviously, he's this team's number one receiver. I don't think there's any doubt about that. After him, it's, a lot of competition across the board with Pringle, Velus Jones, and N'Keal Harry, who's now on board, Equinemius, St. Brown, Newsome, and all those guys. I think Mooney's primed for a big year. I think this new offense is going to help him out. I think Fields is going to break out like I mentioned earlier, and we'll truly find out how big of a fraud Nagy was if this offense, with somewhat limited personnel, outperforms last year's by a decent margin, which honestly shouldn't be that hard because the offense was that bad a year ago. Predict Darnell Mooney's stats for 2022. You can, just do touchdowns, or you can just do yards, or if you want to overachieve, you can do catches, yards, touchdowns, and, so on and so forth. I think, 90-ish catches, 1,200 yards, 6-7 touchdowns. I think something like that is very much a possibility. We'll talk Mooney a little bit more here because Madden 23 has been releasing some of their positional ratings. They did wide receivers yesterday. They've released a couple of more today as well. We'll talk Roquan Smith in a moment also. But I wanted to dive into the wide receiver ratings because the disrespect for Darnell Mooney is out of control. We just showed you his numbers last year, over 1,000 yards and a garbage offense, and he gets a 79 overall. He outperformed Terry McLaurin last year, who's a 91 overall. Not saying he's better than McLaurin, but to be 12 rating points below, that's disrespectful. I think he should have been in the mid-80s. The rest of these, okay. I don't know. I'm surprised Dante Pettis is a 74. He basically has done nothing since his rookie year. N'Keal Harry there at 72. Tajae Sharpe. But the disrespect toward Mooney is out of control. Again, I'm not sitting here saying he should be a 92 overall or something like that, but we're talking about a guy who had over 1,000 yards playing with 3 different quarterbacks and a bad offense last year. That's pretty damn impressive. If he wasn't a 5th-round pick a couple of years ago, I think he'd be a lot higher. Some of the other guys, Velus Jones Jr., 69 overall. Nice, but not so nice. David Moore, we'll see if he's going to be a part of this thing much longer. Equinemius St. Brown down there. Daz Newsome, Nasimba Webster, Isaiah Coulter there in the mid-60s. And then another one that caught my eye, Roquan Smith, the linebackers came out. He has an 89 overall rating, 6th best in the NFL. I guess 6th isn't that big of a deal, but I think he should be in the 90s. Also, he's below Bobby Wagner. Like, Bobby Wagner is still good, but he's well past his prime. Roquan Smith is a better player than Bobby Wagner right now. I don't think that's even a question. And it really brings us to the point, because every year we overreact to these Madden ratings. Do you still even play Madden anymore? Like, are you going to get the game this year? Type Y for yes, N for no. I haven't played Madden consistently since, I don't know, like Madden 13 or so, somewhere in there when I was in college maybe. It's been a while. Y for yes and for no. Do you still play Madden? All right, that's going to do it for our news and rumor show here on Chicago Bears Now. Be sure to subscribe. I am back. I'm ready to go. Training camp going to be here next week. We'll get you ready for that and, of course, have daily updates throughout camp and on into the preseason. So subscribe and turn on those notifications.